Hello, everyone. Today,
Hi.
it's my pleasure since a very long time to host again Ideas and People. And today, I have the wonderful Leonie with me. It's a pleasure to have you here. Thank you very much, Leonie, for being here.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me. And hi to all of you. Feel free to comment in the chat. Notice 30 seconds delay. So keep writing and we will answer anyway. So
Yes,
thanks for having me. I'm very excited what happens because usually it's the other way around. I'm roasting people in my interviews somewhat. And now I'm very
you
curious
see,
what
the
kind of
Empire strikes
questions.
back.
Yeah, totally. I'm
So,
excited.
for everyone who's the first time in this kind of format, the idea of the Ideas and People is actually like to have people which are usually outside of my industry now who are coming and telling about their ideas, because I believe what makes one part which makes humanity great in my sense is like that we have such wonderful ideas, that we have people around and they're so fascinating and brilliant. Therefore, this format is really about let people talk, ask them about their ideas, and maybe we learn one or two things with that, or at least we're entertained. And so far what I know from Leonie, usually we receive both.
Pressure. Only a bit, but yes, I'm here
So
to deliver.
let's start with the first hard question. Leonie, what's actually the idea of you? Or the idea of Leonie, if you want.
Yeah. Oh, only this tiny little simple question. What's the idea of living? I love it. I love it. Yeah, since we met today here for the courage to be seen, that's basically my idea. In my, I don't know, 20 plus years working with people in different environments, like in social work, in corporate, in everyday life, as in we meet as humans, I figured being the real you and having the courage to show up as you, as in not the conceptions, not the how should I be when I have a certain position or being a mother, being a father, being in whatever you name it, just what's really in within you. What do you feel? What do you really think if you don't censor yourself out? Like, in this room I have to be like this. That's the idea of me, because I think I wish for a world where I see you and we meet and you are you. And I get the essence of what you say, what you feel, who you really are, without all the masks. And then contact and conversation and communication would be so easy. And I wouldn't have a job anymore because communication training would be so obsolete. So we don't need that anymore.
When you don't offer that communication training, what would be your job then?
Let's play. Everything else. Let's play. Let's invent games. Because this is like one other idea. What's then of me is like, let's be like childs. And I know from my past as a social worker,
Mm,
not everyone was blessed with a relaxed and joyful childhood. But the
mm,
idea of when I see my nephew play, he's in the zone. Totally. He's in the zone. He's learning
mm.
everything about dinosaurs, about building, about crystals, stones, whatever. He's in the zone. And I would love to have like employees around me who are in the zone too. And if we meet as the childish, best way, childish version of ourselves, this would be so easy to create bigger things, to save the planet for some reason, like as in climate and all the stuff, because we would invent the things from the playful attitude.
Leonie, wait a minute. We are here on LinkedIn. You have to be that serious, please. No, where there's
Okay.
what would be in for people to be a bit more childish when you allow me to ask that question.
Well, to be that serious, have you checked your stress level? Have you checked your sick days level, like your own or in your team? I think this would decrease because the
Mhm.
opposite of work is, or let me put it the other way. Brené Brown says the opposite of play isn't work, it's depression. So we are in a playful state, like also from the
Mhm.
nervous system state. When we are in a safe zone, then we have the resources and capacity within ourselves to play and explore. We can figure out things, we can make new experiences, and we are collaborative. When we
Mm.
are in stress, we don't. We are in this negative version of tunnel, full of fear and stress, and we only see problems and issues and like the annoying boss or colleague. But when we are
So,
in playful mode, what's in it for me? More collaboration and less stress.
so basically, you're saying, and I really like this, was it's the opposite of playing is not work or seriousness. It's actually being in a state where you're stressed. And I think there's a lot of like studies going on with stress is one of the big killers in civilization because it leads to a
Yes.
lot of diseases and issues that you have, and also like with not the best environment around you in terms of like when a lot of stressed people are together, usually they don't work so well with each other. So that's an interesting thought. And we have below your little label with
Yeah.
TEDx speaker, which is not
Mm.
that little. I honestly envy you also for this. Um, what was you gave a talk there, and I know there was a lot of good things, but especially you were about, oh, there was one moment which was not so playful as it could be. Can you tell a bit about that?
Yeah, well, that's the fun part. Like in retrospective, it was pure gold. And so my TED Talk isn't out yet. So if you wonder where can I see it, you will follow me on LinkedIn, and I will
Mm.
go on and on and on for weeks. Soon it's online. The thing is, I'm 35 years plus on stages, like acting, sort of hosting, moderation, whatever, and speaking and improv play. So I do have the experience when something is stressful, not going the way it planned, improv, applied improv, that's me. I'm holding the presents, and you won't figure out that I'm completely lost. And that's what happened. Like, why I applied for TED and got taken, I don't know. They took me because, yeah, good topic and experience and stuff. But why I applied was to write a text and know it by heart. That like I have a script. I have to reproduce.
Mm.
It's not improv. This was like that's no. I'm improv. But that was my personal challenge. And in English, which I figured that was the easy part. And so the two reactions to that moment I'm coming to in a second
Mm.
was one said, but she's so experienced and sovereign. How could she stumble around and had a blackout? It's just, I wouldn't know. And the other part, Leonie, tell me the truth. You planned that. That was so perfect. And he said, no, I didn't. I didn't plan that. So my thing was, I was totally in the zone on this red carpet dot and told my story. I'm more like I felt it and spilled the words out. So,
Mm.
so I didn't learn it in my head. It was more like in my heart. And then I figured out like, usually I had, so I got lost in my head. I knew exactly where I was and what would come next, but I missed like I missed something. So, and then I had two options, and I was very quick because experience. Like, what do I do now? Do I go on, or do I improvise and tell something else? Or which I then actually did was I asked for help. So I hold the presence, figured what do I do, and then I said I need help. And then my coach came with the script, and we had a little chit chat, like what I didn't say yet, where I am, how do I go back then, and because it was all on camera
Mm.
and they cut it the way I would love it to have it lately, in the end. And then I said, okay, what I didn't say. So I just go back where I just took off and go back. And afterwards, I was like, oh, I messed up completely. Me, I trained so hard. I almost dreamed, like every night I dreamed my speech. Like, yeah, I'm totally in it. And then I dropped it like, ah. But it was so gold because when I said I need help, half of the room at least didn't knew then that I was lost. Saying, yeah,
Mm.
that's part of the show. And some thought, maybe now she's getting the script, and maybe this isn't part of the show. And still, after that, still like, yeah, this was part of it. And was what was my heartwarming, overwhelming moment was when I said I need help, like everybody in the room stood up and clapped. They hold the energy very high for me. I didn't expect them to boo or to throw eggs or whatever, worst case scenario, but I didn't expect them to, yeah, okay, come, keep going, you got this, you got this. Oh my God. And this was the key element of my speech, like the courage to be seen. I stood there well prepared until my every cell of my body was prepared, and I said, I need help.
Isn't it so that humans can be so nice and kind? I think
Yeah,
sometimes we forget.
yeah. If I would watch the news, I would totally forget that people
Mm.
could be nice and kind. But the right people are, and this is my theory, if you be your true self, then people can connect to your true self and recognize you, and people are so willing to help. I would say
About
nearly everybody are
yeah,
so willing to help if they feel you are a good person or you are the person you say you are. So, and in general, like everybody is pro life. Life is for you, and people act on it, and people are so willing to help each other out.
also being, gentlemanly kind, like Torsten, who said like, "Hey, you were in stage before you were born." Ah, Torsten.
Maybe somewhere in the universe, I'm arranging doing theater for the angels, or I don't know. Oh, sorry, we are linked in that series. Yes, I'm
Yeah,
on
therefore that's
stage.
serious. But the idea is really like humans can be much nicer as we assume, and therefore I heard this once, and I think it's so true. Like the worst fears and the worst thing that can happen is usually only in your mind.
Mhm.
Therefore, often 99% of this don't happen.
No.
Therefore, with this courage, not only to be seen, but also, as you said, like to ask for help. If if I know one person who's actually really bad at this, it's myself. I know this. Therefore, and this is like where it says this is such a brilliant lesson of this, that you can ask for help, and that people are actually like, oh no, they were not like, oh, now I want to have my ticket back for the time, or was there any refunds? You have to tell.
No, no, and I was 1 out of 10 speeches, so I think they got a good good impression on how talks can go.
Mhm.
And it's like we had every skill on it, like some who were really new on stage, and they got applauded as well as much for to dare to stand in front of people, because this is one of the biggest fear. I don't have a study for it, but I come across it all the
Yeah.
time. Like, people would rather die instead of talking for people. Like, there's a
Yeah.
list of fears, like spiders and everything is on it. And then, like, the fear of the own death is below, like, talking in front of people on a stage, like 200 people. Whoa. So, and what you
Mm.
just said, I want to come back to asking for help. Since I had a bachelor thesis back then about resilience, the
Mhm.
idea of resilience, one protecting factor of the concept of resilience and salutogenese is asking for help. So this makes you more resilient. But I figured there's a second layer to it. Asking for it is one thing. Most people
Mhm.
can't. Many people is not so easy because they want to be the strong one and maybe even the hero. This is a cliche, but sometimes I hear that from my male clients, like, yeah, but I have to provide, I have to save everyone, and I have to
Yeah.
be the strong one. I said, yes and no. Like within my space, when I coach you, in our connection, when
Mhm.
I'm the coach for you, you don't have to be that strong always all the time. And the other layer is asking for help, and then receiving it and taking it. So a
Mhm.
way like I ask for help, I get offered help, and I take it. And sometimes what I get for help might not be totally what I thought would help me, but it could be totally helpful. So
Mhm.
this is a learning for any gender. Like, okay, asking might be difficult, but receiving
Mhm.
and taking, non-discussing it, but it should be this and this. Like, sorry, shut up and just let me help you.
You know what is so funny sometimes? People are sometimes very generously disappointed you didn't ask them. So, basically, with asking for help, you're pleasing others as well. So, it's like part of like a social contract we go. Therefore, this is just a comment would I like to share with you from Manuela, which says, "Hey, refreshing. Be yourself. Don't be afraid to fail. We are here to improve. Hug the
Yeah.
critics. Go for it." This isn't
Yes.
it the opposite of help? Hugging critics?
It depends. Well, I would say I
Maybe
don't
let
have.
me add one thought line. Okay,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
when is critique helping and when not?
How many hours do we have in here? Well, I think like critics. Oh, it's oh, that's so complex. Yeah, and I love this question. So complex. I think it's perspective. One thing is I have that all my life for some reason, because I'm the colorful and loud and playful one, which is, oh, we are here on LinkedIn, we have to be that serious.
No, that was for the joke. Be playful. Okay, no
Yeah,
problem.
yeah, that's what I'm just saying. Like I be me as good as I can, always,
Mhm.
everywhere. So some critic me, you can't do that. We are here in a space which is that serious. Don't be this and that. Yeah, exactly. So that's critic. But I think this tells more about the person who thinks I should be different. I think, yeah, but that's says more about you. But sometimes, and I stopped the conversation early, I learned it to not go deep in. When they have this perception of me, it's theirs, and I don't invest anymore to convince, to explain myself. I stop explaining myself where I think, no, that's lost. No. The other thing is when I actually want to improve myself. Of course, I asked my TED coach and my friends who witnessed the live talk.
Mhm.
Of course, I asked, how do you experience it? Did it go the way we thought it would, to my coach? And what do you think? How was the performance in the TED frame? Because
Mhm.
TED frame, I'm totally happy on the improv stage, but I want to improve and doing TED, which is completely different. This is also critic, but I ask for it, and this is something else for me. And
And just
the
mhm.
critics who are poking and you're not good enough and when it's like, yeah. And then there's a concept of mirror laws. I'm not sure if this is the right English term, but it's like if someone tells me, a critic, and he or she is like, wow, ongoing, that's something in this person. But if I react on it, it's also an issue for me, within me.
Can I ask you a question as a
Please.
pro?
A pro.
On Yeah, I think if someone is seen controversial, is
Mm.
also being you. Sorry, therefore fair enough. And there's from one person that I really kind of respect and inspired me was David Goggins. And one part of his thing was like, own the hate, the real you, which means also, when you're dumb, you're dumb. And when you're lazy, you're lazy. Therefore, it's easy to say the other one offended me or is criticizing me and it's not true. What's your point on this?
Yeah, I totally agree. It's like, yeah, It's you see issues in other people which are driving you crazy for some reason, but
Mm.
it might be more like you. I like when I did social work, I sometimes used for the teenagers because they can grasp it more on the idea. If you point with your finger on someone, on a behavior, you have there are three fingers pointing to you still. And one of
Mm.
my clever teenagers, I loved her dearly for that. Like, yeah, then I take the whole hand, so for no fingers pointing back to me, and I said, clever you are, and yet the whole arm is still connected to your body, isn't it? Said,
Mm.
So it's something about me, yes. And the other way around, if it hits me, if you say, Leonie, you're so chaotic, and it hits me, and it's like, yeah, because I think I'm chaotic myself, and I would love to be more structured, which I don't want to. But anyway, and if we are both reacting on that chaotic,
Mm.
e.g., so we have both something. So I activate you in your, you don't like your chaotic version of yourself,
Mm.
or what I think is most happening to me, I'm the playful lady which stick to the rules and yet doing the improv thing, yes, and let's see where we can go if we bend the rules, not
Yeah,
not
no, this is like the thing of when you know a really Arnold Schwarzenegger was putting it, like, you know, don't break the law, but you can break rules. The question is,
yeah,
what are actually rules? And
yeah.
for some people are not aware of it. With my daughter, is like this. She has a special condition which make her question sometimes things and so on, also yourself, and it's that serious important to her, certain aspects, and you go like, no, it has to be like this. And then she asks why, and then you notice like, why? Is it because I was raised myself that way, or is it because I have the feeling it has to be like this? There are no direct rules. Maybe good manners is a different story. Showing good manners for me very important, but still, like being aware of this, where it says, therefore it comes with this playful thing. And one thing I have to say to save my honor, because earlier I was saying like, hey, I'm the guy who said you should be, but it's actually not true. If we work together, and I hosted a small event and I invited Leonie for speaking it. If you remember, like this, we had a discussion about also like about being that serious. Did I said something like you should be something like this?
No, I was just quoting you in here. I know you are one of
Yeah.
those people slash persons slash males in my life who let me be as I am, and even appreciate me, and even invite me into rooms where mostly come in this uniform, like black tie, whatever,
Mhm.
male costume, respectfully, like as a part of my words. And the other guys, speakers, awesome people. And yet I was sort of the alien,
The
female,
unicorn. I would
colorful.
put it like
Yes,
this.
yes, a unicorn. I love that more. You see, you get me. You get me. And the unicorn, amongst all these, yes, this is how
Mhm.
speaking goes, and this is how facilitation goes. And they had great talks, inspiring talks. And yet I was the only one without any slides. I came in. So, and now we get up and we form a circle, and then, and the people like, huh? I expected PowerPoint television. I said, no, we do things
You
differently.
actually, you know, you actually even let them smell something.
Hmm. Yes, take all the senses, like smelling,
Mhm.
seeing, feeling, take it all with me, because
Yeah.
I love to quote Maya Angelou: people will forget what you say, what you do, but they will remember how they felt
Mhm.
in the contact with you. And since I know that essential oils can trigger the best way, activate feelings, I
Yeah.
use it. Why shouldn't I? This is so easy. This is why I say all coaches, trainer, and so go for all senses. Take all the senses along, and it's so easy. And then you have a full circle moment
Mhm.
and a whole wholesome experience in your training, and the people go outside, step outside, not only motivated and have a lot in their brain, they can connect everything, and then they actually do stuff afterwards.
I mean, as it was putting it, it was, and I got this feedback as well, that there were some people who actually felt a bit uncomfortable with this. But I think
Sure.
when we dare to inspire, we may need to put some also some how can I say experiences which are really like out of the usual.
Yeah.
And this was like one of my thing. And coming back to the thing, like I didn't say how you should be.
No.
I started with me with what I actually wish for.
And what you don't wish for, because this is part of the how
Yeah.
I do the frames. What I love to ask my clients for trainings, for speaking, for coaching, what's the one thing or the three things which should never
Mhm.
happen in our co-working thing? And you answered that as well, and I think I didn't deliver that because you
Yeah.
didn't ask for it, so that's
Just
good
for
thing.
the people who are curious, on that
Ooh.
event, I wanted to have a lovely evening with
Yeah.
fun and this. Therefore, no too serious things, because when you're working with people, sometimes they bring topics into into the evening, which are may not possible to solve there. And it's also not
Yeah.
part of when you do an event like to therapy people or to go too much. Therefore, should be playful, should giving you like an impulse, and you get doing, and you did a little bit, and this therefore was wonderful. And also, Leonie was one part of that evening. What made it so wonderful because it was with with the speaker lineup in mind. I wanted on one hand to go deep on something, on the other hand going broad,
Mm.
because it's very easy that sometimes stuff goes in the same direction. I was thinking first with ideas and people. I make everything about, IP and cover it a bit about ideas and people with intellectual property. And actually, I was like, no, what's the point of it? There are many people. I know so brilliant people that I couldn't invite them if I wouldn't talk about their ideas. And I mean, later on, this anyways ends in intellectual property in some form, but it's not part of this talk. We're talking about the real you. And we spoke about, on one hand, the positive sides, the negative sides. And Leonie, if I would ask you, what is the definition of a real you for you?
I quote someone in the chat, maybe you can put it here. The more I dare to be authentic, my authentic self, the more successful I became. Thank you to Thorsten. Pretty much it. What means authentic? To question
Mhm.
the rules, that's how we've always done anything. So, and as a society, yes, we agree to certain laws. This is like meta. And then we agreed like cultural, we agreed to like how do you say, how did you just said like etiquette and
Yeah,
behavioral, like
etiquette.
yeah, like do we greet, do we not greet, do we shake hands? And this is a cultural thing, and we in Europe as in Germany, we agree to some standards, and then like question it and ask yourself, does it serve me? Do I just be this kind of lemming, like I do what everybody else is doing? And then you will never stand out. Maybe you don't want to stand out ever, that's okay, but I think our body, this is correct to be seen also, your body, I think our bodies are so smart. If
Mhm.
you keep living against your truth, like feeling wise, thinking wise, values, what are your values? If you always like this is your value and you're always living like that, your body will get
Mhm.
to tell you, and you will get sick. You will be like driving the burnout road or anything. Psychosomatic. I have
Yeah.
a thick book with which all the bodily reactions there are have an emotional aspect in it. And I say, yeah.
Can we speak about the following? I think one of the counter arguments is like this. And this is a general feeling I think you especially have with younger generations, because I have the feeling they really are into being authentic, and this is something that I admire on them. They're much more fearless for this and walking away if you compromise on their authenticity. To now, what I want to ask you is, because there's always this like counter argument for it, which says, okay, when we put it to the extreme, like, everyone has to dance around your trauma, and you have to accept like you are, and you want to sleep a couple of hours, and this, everything what you claim Gen Z4. How to deal, to make it even a bit more practical now for our audience, how to deal with that, to bring it to a healthy amount. What's your suggestion?
Good question. I love it. I don't dare to say I have the answer for everything, but from my perspective, what younger generations, and I think it's like go 100 years back and 100 years
Future?
before, in the future, we have the same issues with different circumstances. Like the generation arguments and little fights are always the same, different, same day, different shit, or not shit, sorry, but it's pretty much the same. What I appreciate in Gen Z or in this actual discussion is they mirror us. Like, yeah, boomer, I don't want to spend all my life for one company to work my ass off to get a bouquet of flowers after 25 years and a golden watch, maybe. I have more. There's more in life than just work. And I think this is really good claim. And for the boomers, maybe, I never thought of that. And so, of course, I never thought of that. That's unusual. So some of them get inspired and say, yeah, when I go in retirement, I go early on in retirement and my half part in my 50s. So, and then I drop out at 60, not at 70, like the government want us to work forever. Yeah, I get inspired. So, and to bring that all together is like, I think if everybody is aware, what's the real me? What are my needs? So, and then we come together as a society, and then we sort of negotiate in a friendly way. Like I had a training once, I don't know the English title, for gewaltfreie Kommunikation.
It's
yeah, Roosevelt and
therefore is
the
communication
giraffe.
without violence is the literal translation,
Yeah.
which goes like, you don't force something over words, because it's often overlooked, but these words can hurt, is literally meant.
Yes. And what I took out of it is like, we all have needs, bodily, emotionally, and they can all be answered, served, taken care of, but you don't have to. If I figure out, oh, my need is this and that, I am aware of it. That's enough for the first step. And then I can figure out, can I take care of it? And then I don't have to. And then do a cascade, like,
can we put it into context of the business, please? Because
yes,
what I
yes,
think
in a
of it,
team.
the problem is, now we said like boomers get inspired or so. I personally don't like boomer thing, because like I read a very fascinating book which was actually about killing people. So from a military perspective,
Okay.
where it was, therefore, sorry to be harsh, but what was so interesting was like, because it looked at the US soldiers in Vietnam, and they were things like, it did horrible things, in order to fight this war, and they came back and they were totally peaceful. There were no problems. And how could this be? And they basically, all violence, or how can I say, very violent behavior is always to what the group accepts. Which means, therefore, what I don't like, for me, it's never Gen Z or boomers or something, because then you start adding labels. With labels, you form groups, and groups can fight to the death. That's human nature in a nutshell.
Yes.
And therefore, for me, is like, where it says, we are all humans. Therefore, we belong together.
As I said.
And I think this now comes a bit from Agile, where they're always like, okay, you introduce, for example, an Agile method, working method, and then soon you start popping up the conflicts. And there's a good friend of mine, Kai, and Kai, with his company Age of Growth, they do this coaching stuff. Like, it's because it's a magnifying glass. When there was a conflict below, it starts then blowing up. And now comes the real you. And this is one part of the concept. Just to close the loop about what I'm saying is, I believe the real you is necessary. Yes, it will lead to conflict and to very substantial discussions, which are maybe not easy for a business leader or a team lead, but they're important because they sort out the group between people who just need a job, and they think to people who actually enjoy what they're doing and want to be there. And it's like, yes, it's challenging, and sometimes you have to invite the other ones as well. But still, it's like it gives you this chance. And I think if you never talk about this, it makes things so much harder. Sorry for taking too much, because actually I should interview you, not talking about myself.
I love this dialogue more than just like get thrown question on me. And I want to make it, of course, that's what I'm here for too, like as in this live, to make it grasp and handy. And what can I do now about this? So since I'm also an insight discovery practitioner, which is behavior, which is Siggy Young, and this is the color things, extrovert, introverts and stuff, do that with your team, and then you have language. For me, this is more like a language training, how to express oneself in this like version of yourself which you are now, because behavior can change. If you used to brush your teeth with the left hand, you can train yourself to do it with the other hand, and also knotting your shoelaces, writing your name, or writing with the one hand or both hands. That's behavior. So what to do? Needs. Every human has needs, like sleeping, food, water, and stuff. And the emotional needs, like security, closure, like you have my back, I have your back, and stuff. Train people, help them make to express it. Deliver or create a room in your team where it's safe that I express myself. What's my need? Like, I just need 2 minutes to just dump what's in my brain. You don't need to do anything with it, but I need to just, I had the worst experience on the way to this meeting stuff. This is, start your meetings like this. Like, how do you feel right now? What's in here with you? What do you want to tell the group? And this can be everything, for like, my kids are sick, I had no sleep, so I might be a bit foggy, or I'm so happy to be here, or anything. Like, let the people
Not happy to be here.
Not happy. Also, and don't judge. It's just, it is what it is. Let them tell this, and let them make the experience. I'm not judged. I just am. So, expressing needs, and then maybe some needs have to be addressed immediately, and all the needs can be answered, but maybe not all at the same time. So if someone really is almost starving, or needs really, really water, give that first. And then, since we are all grown-ups, and this is what some of you have kids, watch them expressing their needs. When they are babies, the only thing they do is expressing needs. Like, and you have to figure out what's the crying pattern. Is this more like hunger, or is this more a new diaper? And then we get trained in the kindergarten and school, like,
you know what every parent would say?
No, not yet.
You go to checklist, like hunger, diaper.
Yeah, and we should
Still
also do
crying.
that.
Okay, go to the doctor at some point.
Yeah, and I don't say treat your employees or team or friends or whatever like children, but invite them to express their needs. And if we would do that, that's the real you too. And then, of course, I own my thoughts, I own my emotions, and I own my needs. And then I can ask for help if I need to answer by the help of you, or say, I need 5 minutes then I step out the meeting or whatever, and then I take care of myself. Food, pee, water, whatever. Have a good cry in the bathroom, call a friend, whatever it is. And then I come back and like, okay, I took care of myself. I'm a grown-up woman. I can do it. Or I ask for help. So do it. Create a safe environment. Invite people to address their needs and to spill it out. Maybe teach them in a language version. Insight Discovery is my recommendation, because there's a whole chapter in the profile. If you talk to me, please do it this way. If you talk to me, please don't do this, as an inspiration. And then you will see how you can get along.
Can I ask you, because I will stress you about this point, therefore sorry, not sorry, and
True.
which is about where to draw a line between the real you and professional detachment to be functional. At some point, for example, now putting it to an extreme, if a
Yes.
firefighter has a bad day, I still wish that he ignores a bit his needs and still put out that fire.
Yes. So what's your point? What's
How, can you advise on that? You know, how to find the balance, make it healthy?
Yes. The
Because
smart
maybe let
this
me elaborate what I see as an issue. Sometimes I
yeah.
have the feeling you're dealing with extremes. Either people
Yeah.
are very professional detached and they do what needs to be done and they ignore their needs and needs of others, and they're also like others who are like putting their needs above everything. This is
Yeah.
usually also what people claim about Gen Zs, where it says like, "Hey, very nice that you want to express yourself, but we are plumbing company,
Yeah.
so we
Yeah.
need get shit done."
Yes, we do. We do. And this has yeah, the easy answer is containment. And second part is, do they know why? Do they have the vision in mind? When I'm in a
Mm,
company, I think like I love John Strelacki's books, like Big Five for Life and everything, and the Why Cafe and stuff. Like, if your people in the team ideally know what's their purpose in life and have a working environment, or the place or the job they do have is aligned with their purpose in life and can serve the purpose of the company. So that's another question. Of course, if the company is burning figuratively or literally, of course I do, because I'm aligned with it. I want to succeed with all of you and to make our projects work and
mm,
whatever it is, then of course I can contain my needs. And as I said before, this is the critic on other generations. Yeah, I need something, I go for it. No, that's not what I mean. It's like some of us in this society don't know how to express, don't dare to. Make them do it.
mhm.
And the others is like, good, you know, and now make it happen that you can still work and serve the team goal. So it's more like, for me, it's about team playing. And if you have a 5-minute spot each meeting, so everybody could share, how are you here right now? Is there anything you need? As in concrete things like water or an answer or a talk with the boss 5 minutes later, address it. And then the mind is free and they can focus on everything. And that's a
Can
containment. And
we?
I'm not rooting for like, oh, I have needs until they are not served, I can't do anything. No, that's not,
Yeah.
I'm not rooting for that.
Um, can we speak about the fact that sometimes all they really need is a bit of sharing, but not to need the need to be solved?
Yeah, people, or I just read that in a book or came across, is like, people work for the paycheck, but they would die for a recognition. And that's all you need. Basically, if you are some sort of boss, give them recognition. This can be everything. And also Insight Discovery depends on how they would prefer. Like some of the extroverts would love to have the big applause in the team meeting. You nailed it. You got the most sales and you solved the most terrible issue of a client, whatever. And the introverts would love to have, hey, Ricardo, I've seen you've done so well. You saved my day. You saved the team, whatever. And not in the big town hall meeting, not the town hall meeting applause. Like,
Yeah.
what you do had an impact on me, on the team, on the company. This is what people really want to know. And then the paycheck is not like how we say it in German, Schmerzensgeld, like
Yeah,
what's the English
yeah.
term?
Therefore, it's kind of bribing
Yeah,
stuff. Therefore, like you get an exchange for your pain.
yeah, yeah. So recognition, it is like, yeah, okay. People want to have an impact in life, in other people's life, and some want it huge and they become Tony Robbins, Bob Proctors, and I'm lacking on female colleagues of them yet, so I'm on
Yeah,
it somehow. And others
there's
just
one of the speaker trainers in Germany always says like, "Hey, the market has a growing hunger for women in speaking."
yeah. If you, I'm here, so you can call me. I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm ready.
Yeah.
Yes. And other people are totally happy. As my favorite part in the book of Strelacki is also like the ministry of the first impression, or the minister, or the manager
Mhm.
of the first impression. That the purpose in life of, I think it was a lady, gender doesn't
Mhm.
matter, is like, I want make people happy and feel seen with a smile. And so they got the job on the front desk, calling, and people come into the building and say, hi, how are you? Happy to see you, how can I help? And this was so great, because this really is purpose in life. And I think that person should have a really, really huge paycheck, because that's the first impression of the whole company.
Mhm.
And if you screw on that point, the rest of it doesn't matter what the rest of the company does, or they have really to work hard to get the first impression corrected in this. Okay, you're not done. Yeah.
Now we are. It's already, the time is really flying. What I really would
Yeah.
love is we covered so much topics.
Yeah.
Therefore, and there were some tips about what is the real you, why it's important, how to give some space within your team, for example, to have this. Also, like the chance that people can open up, and this usually also like keeps them focused for the task. Then now, you said some tips. And if you recall now from this hour, when you feel and look in yourself, and this could be the last thing you would be allowed to share on any stage on the world, which I don't hope, what
What?
would be the like the major thing that you want people to take home as a message?
Dare to be you and show up vulnerable.
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 Do I want this? I'm a strong guy, like bulletproof. What's in for me being vulnerable?
Find it out.
Nah.
Vulnerable in my understanding. For me, vulnerable doesn't only mean to say, I messed up, I don't know all the answers. It's just like, I show up as me. Like, I'm really happy for this. Like,
Mm,
be human. And asking for help for some is already being vulnerable. And I think, like, when I was employed, which I was for also 15 years or something, is like, I followed my leaders more when I figured they are human too. They don't have all the answers, and they want to know my expertise or my perspective on the situation.
mm,
So this is also vulnerable to not having all the answers. And if you then can give some sort of, what do you feel right now in this moment?
mm.
That's all there is, and that's pretty human. Watch your children, they do it. Like my nephew, when we play and he is done playing with this game, he's just, no, I'm done. I don't want anymore. I now want to do something else. I'm hungry. And when I don't do what he expects me to do, he's really like, he's like, okay. Okay. I didn't mean
Mhm.
to be a bad aunt or anything, but this is how he is.
Sometimes, this is the fun part of, because before I was a dad, I was an uncle. It's the fun part of it. Like they're like your little experiments. When it goes totally bad, it's still your sister's problem when they are crying or so. Therefore, it's not joking, a bit joking, but it's like the point. This is for me also why it's so important to, for example, that the kids have an exchange with grandparents, uncles, and aunts, because they treat you differently, and that's like where we're coming back to your event
Yeah.
participation. Is like you grow when have something different.
Mhm.
Therefore, maybe in range, okay, maybe not in expertise in a certain field, but I think nowadays, I don't know what's your feeling. Um, do you think being very focused on one area alone is a good bet on the future?
I don't know. I think
That's
it's
why I'm
always,
asking you.
yeah. I never thought of it. It's, I think there are generalists and certain
Mhm.
experts. Like you have a
Yeah,
broad expertise, or like only one or two. You're really in
yeah,
depth, and I think y- probably you can't cover everything. And it's like, what are you here for? What's your zone of genius? You just
mhm.
are, and you figure it out over time and by trying and failing. And then I think collaboration. Like found an expert on one thing you just need right now if you're a generalist, or if you want this single or two topic expert, go find a generalist and look behind your über den Tellerrand, like what's
Yeah.
after,
What's
around,
else there? I think you
what's
you put it
else.
very brilliantly with this thing, like, because I made a trick question and you navigated quite well. With the question is the real you more a generalist type of person? Usually people would have this huge spark in curiosity, which is good, or are this like more focused specialists? In my opinion, for the future nowadays, it becomes so hard to predict the future. It's very good when you have an expertise to a certain amount, but maybe also some fallback positions. Therefore, because the future is very, I think, undefined, and therefore it is
VUCA.
important to have a certain range, or at
Yeah.
least at a bit adaptability.
VUCA world. And I'd say, if I would root for one skill you should have, is like communication in combination with collaboration.
Mhm.
So know what you have to offer and learn how to ask for help.
Do you
So,
know
and be
why?
willing, be willing to
Mhm.
offer.
Do you know what I don't like on VUCA?
No, not yet.
It's actually a military term, which comes back in the 90s, was describing now asymmetric battlefields.
Hmm.
And the issue is, and I'm a military guy, I'm allowed to say this. Therefore, military has a lot of great lectures, but you have to put the context to it.
Hmm.
Military is competition. It's one versus one. Like there's no second place. And I believe when we look at the world and business and so, that's not competition necessarily. It's an ecosystem. I
Hmm.
can perfectly have my own LinkedIn live event, and I don't have to care if someone else has more like
Hmm.
views on their LinkedIn live event at the same time. We are not in competition. It's an
No.
ecosystem.
Yeah.
And this is like what I don't like on the VUCA stuff, because the world was always messed up and was always uncertain in this. And the thing is just I have the feeling just like on a CPU, the frequency got higher. It's now everything's a bit much faster.
Yeah.
But and I really like what you said in the beginning, where we were like, hey, Ricardo, the guys, like, if we go 100 years back or 100 years forth, the same guys.
Yeah.
People are
Archetypes
people.
of people. Yeah. We are still the same archetypes of people in here. So yeah, the circumstances might change, and since we have some revolutions, as in industrial and the internet and AI and stuff, and who knows what is around the next corner in 5, 10, 20 years. So be the real you, and then you will always find people to connect. And I'm not saying it's a scale from Zero, I'm playing roles to fit into.
Yeah.
Tomorrow I'm 100% me, like gradually, incremental change. Like find rooms where you can already be a bit more like you are. And I guess for some of us, it's in friends or family environment where you can just say, where you don't have to be perfect all the time. At least I
Mhm.
wish everyone a room, a figuratively room where you can just sigh and you have people who really see you and where you really show up. And then take this version of you, this energy, to a spot where you haven't done it before, like for 10% today and for another 10% tomorrow. And then or come in my coaching, of course. I'm not pitching here, but you can
Mhm.
always
Yeah.
ask me. You can always ask me. I'm willing to give away free tips or inspiration.
I mean,
I'm here
what
to help.
a great tip that you gave in this session was as well, give some what I call check-in time. It was this tip I actually lived beforehand in my former company where we had this as well. We were founding the company, there was a lot of stress, and after 3 months, we started really fighting for nothing, each other
Yeah.
with the co-founder. The reason was like, that we always think like, yeah, we are super functional and everything about business, but we're humans. And sometimes you just have a bad day because you haven't slept, or there's something on your mind, or you're super happy. And there was another comment of someone who was like, the universe is not watching us,
Mhm.
which goes also through like for, sometimes when a person is stressed or pissed or sorry for this rude words in this call, but part of being the real me is a bit like,
Yeah. Go for it.
oh, I'm a gentleman. Come on, I'm a gentleman. Is
You
really
are.
like allow this to share, to understand it's not everything about you. And when a person is telling, for example, they have a bad day, or there's something going on, or they're super happy, you understand a bit of you have this context information, and then we can work better together. Therefore, it's actually
Yes.
a productivity tip then.
Yes, I have a
Coming
book
to that serious
recommendation.
LinkedIn back.
Yeah, that's your LinkedIn mega. Do you have a book recommendation too? What you just said is like, I put it in my words, it's there are you have stories in your head when you don't do the check-in. You see me like this face, and then you make a story up. What's going on with her? One idea of or one story could be, oh, she's having a bad day, maybe she has trouble at home, whatever. Or you could put it like personally, oh, she just reacted on my last comment, she's mean, she
Mhm.
doesn't like whatever. And this is extremes and very, I try to make
Yeah,
it very
in order to be understood.
genau. So there are everybody in every meeting is telling stories because your brain works like putting it into frames and figuring out, is this a tiger who wants to eat me or not? This is basic old brain, like fight or flight. So
Mm.
book tip: radical honesty. Like figure out how much you lie to
Mhm.
yourself all the time, what kind of stories you tell yourself about yourself. And with this perception, how many stories you tell about other people's and their reaction, what they have to do with you, which might be nothing at all. I might look like this because I don't know, I have a headache for no reason
Mhm.
because I drank not enough water today. And stop telling yourself stories. So radical honesty, and then take them to
Okay.
that kind of training as well. This is also for me a language training in how to collaborate and be the real you, because then you own your stories. And Brené Brown took it to her team, and they do have team meetings where they say, I tell myself the story. When I see you like this, I tell myself the story that you are angry at me because I didn't answer the mail last night. And then it's out there.
Mhm.
And then you can laugh, not laugh as in laughing at me, like, so I haven't thought of this. Thanks for sharing. And no judging, just, okay, now it's out there and can move, and we can drop it and go on with the meeting and being really productive.
now we finally reached also time. So thank you very much for
Yes.
these like closing remarks. Also to the
Yes.
audience, was very interactive. Thank you very much for all that comments.
Thank you.
And I put there the QR code for Leonie's website. Also, if you want to reach out to her on LinkedIn, please do so.
Yes, please.
And therefore, I hope to see you in the next edition. I don't know who will be the next one, but
Oh, I
stay
have
tuned.
10,000 ideas. Who could be here?
And with usually I would say stay innovative, but I think with the course of this session, I would say dare to be you.
Dare to be
And
you.
see you the next time.